The name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the prayer that you get very good marks in your exam. Let's learn vowel today with me, Dr. Afifa Banu. Going to learn vowel today. While the consonant sounds are mostly articulated via closure or obstruction in the vocal tract, vowel sounds are produced with a relatively free flow of the air. They are typically all voiced. Okay, so when we pronounce consonant sounds, we notice the closure or obstruction in the vocal tract. But when we pronounce vowel sounds, there is no such obstruction, there is no closure, and with the free flow of the air, all the vowel sounds are produced. Like for example, you pronounce a sound like e, oo, and you will notice e, ooh, all when you pronounce all these sounds, the vibration occurs. It means by default, all the vowel sounds are voiced. Okay. Now we will see how the vowel sounds are actually classified. The portion of the tongue. First of all, the vowel sound is classified by the portion of the tongue, which is involved in the articulation of the sound. For example, the front part, the central part, or the back part of the tongue. Then we classify it by the position of the tongue relative to the palate, whether it is high, mid, or low. And then the shape of the lips, whether the shape of the lips is rounded or open. Okay, I mean spread. The length or duration of the vocalization of the sound, for example, a long vowel or the short vowel. For example, oo or oo, e or e. Okay, so according to this also we classify any vowel sound. The place of articulation, how we will see what is the place of articulation of a particular vowel sound. In the pronunciation of the word like heat and hit, we talk about high front vowels because the sound is made with the front part of the tongue in a raised position. The front of the tongue and the position of the tongue is raised. Okay, so we call it high front vowel. Okay, we will see in detail further, then it will be even more clear. In contrast, the vowel sound in hat is produced with the tongue in a lower position, and the sound in the words like hot can be described as a low back vowel. Okay. Now, so the next time you try doing this thing practically, sit in front of a mirror, make eye contact with your image, and try saying the words like heat and hit, hat and hot. So what do you notice? For the first two words like heat and hit, your mouth remains literally, little close, fairly close, right? Heat, hit, your mouth is close to each other. But when you are pronouncing the words like hat and hot, what happens that your tongue moves lower and it causes the mouth to open. Hot, hat, the tongue moves lower and the mouth becomes open, wider, right? The most common vowel sounds in English. First of all, we will see what are the most common vowel sounds in English. So first of all, we will see the front vowels. A front vowels is produced when the highest part of the tongue is at the front of the mouth. Okay, then the front vowels are produced like E as in bead, beef, he, me, E as in bid, myth, women, A as in bed, dead, said, A as in bad, laugh, rap, trap. Okay, A. Next is back vowels. When the highest part of the tongue is at the back of the mouth, for the sounds like oo as in boo, move, to, you, o as in book, could, put, or as in born, caught, fall, raw, or as in bought, bob, caught, hot, lot, right? Central vowels, when the highest part of the tongue is in a more central position in the mouth. For example, the schwa, okay, like the words above, about, oven, support, right? The sound like up, like but, blood, dove, duff. Okay. Now, vowel sounds are actually classified according to the movement of the tongue horizontally and vertically. So when it is horizontally, what we notice, what we see, whether the tongue which is used, whether the front, central or back part of the tongue is used. Suppose this is your tongue, and horizontally front position, central position, and the back position. Or when we use vertically the tongue like this, so whether it is high, mid or low, how much it is touching to the upper palate of the mouth, and then accordingly the sound is described and classified. Now this is the diagram of the vowel sounds. Suppose this is the diagram of this is the tongue of our mouth, and when we make the sound e, what we notice, e, it is closed and from the front position of the tongue, and it is closed, e. When we pronounce e, the mouth is half open, e, a half open, I open, open, again half open, and the central position of the tongue, o, back position of the tongue, oo, back position of the tongue, and closed, but o, it is the position, the position of the tongue is back, but the mouth is little open, or in o it becomes open, and in oo it becomes closed. So this is the way we classify a vowel sound. Now let's see diphthongs. What are diphthongs? A diphthong is actually a vowel that contains two different vowel sounds in one syllable. Means the combination of two vowel sound is called diphthongs. Indeed, the word diphthong comes from the Greek word diphthongs. Di means two in Greek, and thongs means sound. The diphthongs means two sounds, two vowel sounds together. Therefore, diphthongs means two sounds. It is also known as gliding vowels because the sound, one sound literally glides into the another. One vowel sound glides into the other vowel sound, and that's why we call it gliding sound as well. When we produce diphthongs, our vocal organs move from one vocalic position to another vocalic position. For example, in order to produce a sound like e, we produce the sound like e, then what happens? The sound glides from one position to another position, e. Okay. Now, as in the words like hi, bye. Okay. Now there are 8 diphthongs. Let's discuss all these diphthongs. For like see, ear as in beer, peer, here. Okay. Then sorry, as in bear, pear, hair, care. Okay. Ua as in tua, poor, ua. Okay. Next is ow as in oh, no, so, phone. We generally say phone. Although for Indian speakers it is correct, but the correct pronunciation, the native speakers do not call it phone, they call it phone. Okay. Ow as in how, now, cow, brown. Okay. A as in day, pay, say, lay, play. I as in sky, buy, cry, try, die. Oi as in boy, toy, koi. Okay. Now see, classification of diphthongs in different categories. So there are few categories according to which we classify diphthongs. Number 1 is falling and rising diphthongs. Then we see opening, closing and centering diphthongs. And then we see wide or narrow diphthongs. Okay, according to the position of the tongue, of course. Falling and rising diphthongs. Falling diphthongs are diphthongs that begin with a higher pitch or volume and end with a lower pitch or volume. The most common falling diphthongs is I, found in the words like I, flight, kite, my. Okay, I, from high to low. Okay. Rising diphthong, that was a falling diphthong. Rising diphthong is just opposite. It begins with the lower pitch or volume and end with a higher pitch or volume. And the rising diphthong sounds is created in English when a vowel follows a semi-vowel. And we know what are the semi-vowels? Wa and ya. Okay, so there are no specific phonemic representation as we have for au, I, ua, ua, right? For rising diphthongs, as they are usually analyzed as a sequence of two phonemes, example, we will pronounce, write it like this, we, or, yell. Okay. The rising diphthong sounds can be heard in words like yell, weed, and walk. Okay. Closing and centering diphthongs. Closing diphthongs have a second vowel sound that is more closed than the first one. A closed vowel is pronounced when the tongue in a much higher position, in the mouth. Example of closing diphthongs are I, found in the in time, okay, ow, found in globe, and a, found in tail. Okay. So typically closing diphthongs are falling diphthongs, always. All the closing diphthongs are falling diphthongs. Centering diphthongs have a second vowel that is mid-central, that it is pronounced with the tongue in a neutral or central position. The mid-central vowel sound is also known as the schwa. Any diphthong ending with the schwa sound can be considered a centering diphthong. Example, ia, found in deer, fair, or ua as in poor. So any word, any sound which has the schwa, central sound at the end, we call it centering diphthong. Okay. Wide and narrow diphthong. Wide diphthongs means required a large tongue movement from the first vowel sound to the second vowel sound. In wide diphthongs, the sound difference between the two vowel sounds will be more prominent. Example includes an I, found in time, and ow, found in cow. Okay. Narrow diphthongs require a smaller movement from one vowel to the other. In narrow diphthongs, the two vowel sounds will sound similar and will be pronounced in a similar way as in a, found in day, play. Okay. Now see, look at this diagram, this chart. Diphthongs are of two types, centering and closing. Centering diphthongs always end in schwa. Okay, like ia, ea, ua, all these are called centering diphthongs. Closing diphthongs, one end in e as in a, I, oi. Okay, that it is moving towards closing of the diphthong, so we call it closing diphthongs. Closing diphthongs ending in u as in ow and ow. Okay. Now this is the diagram of the movement of the gliding of one vowel sound into the other and creating diphthongs. How the from front to mid and mid to back it moves. How from front to central it moves. Okay, from high to mid it moves. Mid to high it moves. A. Okay, ia, this way. You can see here. Ua, au. Arrow signs are there to make you understand. You can go through it. Now we will see this chart altogether. English vowels, we have 20 phonemes in which 12 are pure vowels, which is called monophthongs, and 8 are diphthongs. Monophthongs has 7 short monophthongs like e, a, o, u, a. These are 7 short monophthongs, and 5 are long monophthongs or long vowels. E, a, o, u, as in bird. Okay. 8 diphthongs are 8, in which 5 are closing diphthongs: a, I, oi, au, au, and 3 are centering diphthongs: ea, ia, ua. So this is it for today. Inshallah, soon we will meet in a new video with the new topic. Till then, keep remembering me in your prayer and stay safe, stay healthy. Bye-bye. Take care.